And now that I say that, has Izzy been able to get on quite yet? Ooh. Oh, she just texted me that she'll be on in just a moment. So let's go ahead and get started with the with the chaplain to say the invocation, and then maybe Izzy will be on by the time that's done. So Anna is going to be our chaplain today.
Alrighty. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank Thee for this day. We thank Thee for all of our many blessings and that we're all able to attend this meeting today. And please bless everyone that they'll be able to get something from this to be useful during our simulation. And we say these things in Jesus Christ. Amen.
Thank you. Yeah, Nicholas, I think our Chancellor Pro Tempore is still getting on.
All right. Would you like me to continue with the next thing, or do we want to wait just a minute longer? All right.
I think we can keep going, yeah.
I will now entertain any motions.
I move that we have some fun.
It has been moved that we have some fun. Any seconds?
I second the motion.
All in favor, say aye.
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 All opposed, say nay. The ayes have it. Chair recognizes Catherine for 6 minutes for a fun activity.
Hello, my friends. It's so good to see you. We're back together in the assembly hall and we're ready to have some fun. Today, we're going to have our own special story time. Let me tell you how this works. We're all going to write a fairy tale, but we're going to do it together. I, the fairy godmother, will start, and then I will pass to Bonnie and Nicholas, and I will show you how it's done so that we all get to continue to pass to the next person and give them enough time to think about what they're saying. So I will start, and I will start with Once Upon a Time, and then I will have a sentence. But before I speak, I'm going to tell who the next person is that's going to speak. I will go one full sentence and a half of a sentence, and then the next person will finish my sentence and start a new one. So it will go something like this. I'll tell you how we're going to do it, and then we'll do it. I'll say, after I speak, will be Bonnie next. And then I'll say, once upon a time, and I'll fill in the sentence, and I'll start half of a new sentence. And then Bonnie will say, after I speak will be Nicholas. And then she'll say half of her sentence, and then, finish my sentence and say half of a new sentence. And then Nicholas will say, after I speak will be Anna or whoever. He'll pick somebody on the screen. And then we'll go like that. So our story we're going to create today, we have no idea what we're going to say. It's going to come out of our mouths, but we want to give the next person a chance to really pay attention and think about it before they say, they have to speak right away. So that's not on the spot. Does that make sense to everyone? Shake your hands like this if you understand. Woo, wonderful. Okay, I will start, and after I go will be Bonnie. Once upon a time, there was a little teeny tiny man, and he lives in the woods. One day, this little teeny tiny man.
After I speak will be Nicholas. One day, this teeny tiny man went for a walk in the woods. After walking for an hour, he realized
He had left. Oh, after I speak, let's see who else is on here. After I speak, we'll hear from Alyssa. After walking in the woods, he realized he had left something cooking at home and that he had forgotten about. So he decided to turn around and
So we can't hear you. I can't hear Alyssa. I don't know if anyone else can.
I can't.
I can't either.
Can't either.
Where is Alyssa? Alyssa, here you go. Can we hear you, Alyssa? Oh, we're gonna let you work on that. Can we have someone else go next?
Let's have Andrew go next. Andrew, are you on here?
So repeat your sentence, Nicholas.
So he realized he left something cooking back at home and turned around and
After I speak, will Denver speak. He started to hop from one foot to the other through the woods, going past a bridge. After he got to the food, he did.
Did you say that you wanted me to speak next, Andrew? Okay. After I speak, I want Amy to speak. Once he got to the food, he decided that he didn't want to eat any of the food because he didn't want to become a diabetic. So he went on and he got on a diet and started eating only salad.
Are you gonna stop in the middle of a sentence, or do I just make up a sentence now?
Make up a sentence.
Okay. After I speak, Eliza can speak. Eliza Hester, for clarification purposes. After he started his diet, he realized that he didn't actually like any vegetables, because vegetables are gross. And so instead of eating vegetables, he went to go find some.
After I speak, Anna will speak. Wait, what was the half sentence again?
So he decided that he didn't like vegetables. So instead of dieting with vegetables, he decided he was going to diet on, or diet with, or how
Okay.
grammar.
Pizza, but not just any type of pizza. This pizza was made by.
After I speak, Trinity, you'll speak. This pizza was made by a magical deer that lived in the depths of the forest and collected.
After I speak, Clara and Levi can speak. So wait, can you repeat the sentence again? I'm so sorry.
It's okay. So it's the deer. There's a magical deer that made the pizza, and he collects
Magical crystals that randomly sprout out of the ground for no absolute reason. And crystals are very rare, but you can find them in
The desert. And this deer loved going to the desert because it liked hot weather. But also, oh wait, who's speaking after us?
You can pass it to Levi and then pick somebody for after him.
Yeah, after him. After me and Levi, Isabel will speak. Okay, so the deer liked going to the desert, and that's where the crystals were found. And these crystals were very sharp. And they had a side effect, which was they made you turn into mushrooms that can summon sandstorms. And then afterwards,
Is it you, Isabel? Are you next?
Afterwards, he took a nap. And he dreamt about something.
Let's have Alyssa, are you ready to speak? Oh, we still can't hear you. We'll do you next time. Raise your hand if you haven't spoken. Clark. And then let's go ahead and have Hiram speak after Clark, and Hiram, you can pick who you're going to speak after you. So what's he dreaming about, Clark?
He dreamt about not having burnt food in the first place so that he didn't have to change his diet to magical mushroom pizza. And then he woke up. And then
Okay. After I speak, Jade will finish the sentence. Also, Alyssa, you could put your thing in the chat if you want to. After dreaming about whatever you said, he decided to go milk his cows, Bertha and Bessie. But when he got to the cow pen, he found that ...
that one of his cows died. And then he went to Bertha and found out
Who hasn't spoken? Sophie,
Oh, no.
Kindon, Miriam, Alyssa, Noelle. Have you go next, Noelle?
All right. Yeah. So when he got to the outlet cow, he found that it was sick. And then he realized that the only way for it to heal was if it ate avocados. But in order to find out, he had to. Oh, and Eliza, go.
Kindon, can you go next? Oh, or who did you pick somebody, Noelle?
I said Eliza, but
Eliza, go next, and then Kindon after that.
okay. No, can you repeat the last part again? Sorry. He found out that avocados would heal his cow, but where did he go to find it out? He had to go into an airplane into the sky because only flying avocados could heal his cow. And so when he got on the airplane, he found out it was out of gas. So he...
Go, Kindon.
He went to his garage and found many cockroaches that worshipped potato chips that sold gasoline.
Who else hasn't had a turn? I see Sophie hasn't had a turn. Okay. And Alyssa, how about if we have you type in the chat and I'll read it out loud to everyone. So let Sophie have a turn. Are you back?
I think so.
Oh, perfect. Go ahead, Alyssa. And then we'll have
Okay.
Sophie be after that.
All right. What was the half sentence again?
Something about worshiping potato chips.
Okay. He opened the bottle of gasoline and inside he found avocados. He took them out and...
Is Sophie our last one? Does anybody else not had a turn? Okay, Sophie, you can finish it with a couple of sentences.
Okay. So he took the avocados out and he ate them, but then he decided to go on another diet, but this one was an avocado diet and strictly avocados. And then he lived happily ever after eating avocados. The end.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for the creative input. If we missed anyone, I'm sorry. I hope we got everyone. And the fairy godmother yields the time back to the chancellor to yield to, I guess Nicholas, and then we'll move it back to Izzy. You're muted. There you
Yes, is he here now?
I'm here now.
Perfect. Well, the Chancellor now will yield the time to the Chancellor Pro Tempore Izzy.
Okay. I'm starting with, yeah. I will now entertain any motions.
I move that we review bills made in the last week and learn more on parliamentary procedure.
It has been moved that we review bills made in the last week and learn more parliamentary procedure. Any seconds?
I second.
It has been moved and seconded that we review bills made in the last week and learn more parliamentary procedure. All in favor, say aye.
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 Nay.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay.
Nay.
In the eyes of the Chancellor, this motion passes. The chair recognizes Bonnie for 10 minutes to review the bills made in the last week and learn more parliamentary procedure.
Thank you, Madam Chancellor. First of all, did I really see something in the chat that says it's Andrew's birthday? Andrew, is it your birthday? No? Oh, it's not Andrew's birthday. But if it was, we would all wish him a very happy birthday. Okay, moving on. So, how many of you wrote a bill this week? Raise your hand. Just like raise your actual hand. Ah, that's too bad. Okay, nobody? Okay, I'll talk to you later. Then we are going to use the bill that, I don't know if you guys saw in the email, we started a bill last week and then I went ahead and finished it and shared that sample bill with you guys. So we will use that bill later when we are working on the next steps that we do with the bill. But for now, we will move on to some parliamentary procedure, and we're going to just move super quick and just know that there will be chances to practice this later. So if you're like, that went too fast, just know there will be more practice coming, right? So this is just the introduction to this material. Okay, so the new parliamentary procedure for this week, if you want to, you can even take notes, okay? First of all, at the very beginning of the workshop, you may have heard Nicholas saying that the meeting will come to order, a quorum being present. So a quorum in parliamentary procedure can be a different number of people. It's often a percentage of the whole group. And a quorum needs to be present to conduct business. So in the case of our committees at Yes Week, a quorum would be the majority of the committee. So whatever would be half, we need like, if there's an even number, we need one more than half to be a majority of the committee. So if you have an 8-person committee, 5 people would make a quorum. Or a 7-person committee, 4 people would make a quorum. Does that make sense? So if you have a committee and a quorum is not present, then the committee cannot do business. So that's a thing for the committee chair really to be aware of. Then after the committee chair opens the meeting, in the committee chair will say, I now, someone can make the committee chair will introduce the bills and amendments that are on the schedule for that committee meeting. So maybe there's 3. And so he or she will say, today we will be discussing A, B, 3, 4, and 5. And then we'll ask for any motions, and someone can say, I move that we discuss A, B, 4 first. If that motion passes, then you're ready to discuss that bill. Okay, you guys with me so far? Okay, so we're now discussing Bill 4, AB 4. So the committee chair will say, and remember, we'll have this in scripts for the committee chairs, so you don't have to remember all this detail. I'm just showing telling what it looks like, and then we'll do a demonstration. So the committee chair will say, I now call up AB 4, and then there will be a clerk for the committee. So I just want to make this really clear. The whole assembly has a clerk that will be elected. And each committee will want to have a clerk that you can decide just among your committee who that clerk will be. In the real House of Representatives, the clerk is not a member of the House of Representatives or a member of the committee. They're like a staff member. For our purposes, we don't want to have anyone that doesn't get to participate in the debates and the legislation. So you can just pick whoever wants on your committee to be the clerk. It can even change on different days. However, you, as a committee chair, you will lead that discussion about who's going to be the clerk. So now the bill has been called up. The clerk will read the bill to the committee. Okay. Next step, the committee chair has the option. This is a difference between the committee chair and the chancellor. The committee chair can be very actively involved in the discussion and the debate in the committee meetings. In fact, they get to control how the debate goes. And so if they want to take more than other people's share of time, they could probably get away with that. So the chair opens for debate and can, if they want, recognize themselves first. Say, I recognize myself for 5 minutes for an opening statement, and then they speak. And then the chair then can recognize the bill sponsor next for an opening statement. Those two are both optional. Nobody has to make an opening statement. Then the chair will ask anyone if they wish to be recognized to speak on the bill. So at that point, if you were on the committee and you wanted to be recognized, you would just raise your hand. Then the chair would say, let's pretend it was Jade. She raised her hand. The chair would say, to what purpose would the gentlewoman from, Jade, do you live in Tennessee? I should have picked someone whose state I actually know. For instance, okay, let's pick Anna because I do know for sure. If Anna raised her hand and I was the chair, I would say, to what purpose would the gentlewoman from Virginia wish to be recognized? And Anna would say, I wish to speak to this bill. And then I, as the chair, would say, the chair recognizes the gentlewoman from Virginia. So let me talk about that for a minute. That's how they talk in the real House of Representatives on the committee. More often than saying your actual name, they will call you the gentleman or gentlewoman from whatever state you're representing. I think it would be fun at Yes Week if the chair and the chancellors would recognize people or creatures as whatever they are. I would especially love it if there was one of the 3 little pigs and the chair recognizes the gentle pig from whatever realm the pig is from, right? So you guys can play with this, but you're each of you are a character and each of you come from a realm. So when you call each other things, when you call each other names within the committee, you're going to call each other the gentleman, gentlewoman, or if you're some kind of creature, the gentle whatever you are, from whatever your realm is. Okay, does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. Okay, so the chair's recognizing the gentlewoman from Virginia, for instance, to discuss the bill. Then Anna would be able to just speak on the bill. At any point while Anna is speaking, if somebody has a question for Anna or a point that's relevant to what Anna is saying, they could interrupt Anna and say, will the gentlewoman from Virginia yield? Then Anna has 2 choices. She could say no and keep talking, or she could say yes, and then that other person can talk and make their point. When that other person, let's say it was Trinity, when she finishes her point, she says, I yield back time to the gentlewoman from Virginia. And then Anna gets the time back and gets to finish her point. When Anna is all the way done, she can then say, I yield my time. And then the chairperson takes back over the discussion. Okay. If you guys are like, I do not understand what you're saying, I need you to interrupt me and tell me. Otherwise, I'm just going to keep going. Okay. Okay. I got a thumbs up. Thank you, Amy. Okay. At any point, as the whole committee is discussing a bill, The discussion of the bill can be interrupted to discuss an amendment to the bill. So there we are taking turns discussing, and then someone wishes to be recognized, the chair recognizes them, and they would then say, I propose an amendment to the bill. The amendment can take 3 different forms. You can strike something out, which means take language of the bill out of the bill. You can add, like put language into the bill, or you can substitute. So you take things out and put something in its place. So then once that happens, you pause the discussion on the bill and you start a discussion on the amendment. And you're going to discuss the amendment all the way through until it's voted on before you go back to discussing the bill. If that amendment passes, it's as if the bill includes the amendment, not how it was originally written. If it doesn't pass, then you go back to the bill as it was originally written. Okay? Okay. We're almost there. Any amendment that gets proposes must be germane, which means it has to be relevant to the original bill. If it is not relevant, if somebody on the committee thinks it's not germane, they can call a point of order. So they can ask the chair for recognition. Chair says, to what purpose do you wish to be recognized? You say, point of order. This bill is not germane. The chairperson gets to rule if they agree or not. They can ask the parliamentarian for feedback if they want, but ultimately it's up to the chair if they decide the amendment is germane. If you decide this amendment is not relevant to the actual bill, then that's the end of the discussion on the amendment. You go back to discussing the bill. Okay. There will be 4 options of motions that can happen in committee than what we will go over in workshops. We will have a menu for you so that if you're like, you know what, I don't even want to discuss this bill. I want us to change what we're talking about. There will be ways to do all sorts of other things, but I want to make sure you know the basic procedure to discuss a bill in committee. So once the bill has been, or the amendment has been discussed, then it will be time to vote. So the chair will say the question occurs on this bill. That means it's time to vote. When it's time to vote, we've done voting for the last week. So the voting will look the same as what we've done on the workshop. The ayes will say, the people who are in favor will vote aye. The people who are opposed will vote nay. The committee chair decides based on what he or she hears if the ayes or the nays have it, if they win. And they will declare, in the view of the chair, the nays have it, this amendment fails. If anyone disagrees or wants it to be counted, then they can call for a roll call vote. They can say, I move for a roll call vote. If the roll call, that doesn't even have to be voted on. If anyone calls for a roll call vote, the roll call vote happens. And what that looks like is the clerk of the committee will call on each person. So it'll look like this. I will say, Miss Bohan, and then Anna will get on and say yay or nay. And then I will, let's say she said nay. I will say Miss Bohan says nay. Then I will call on Miss Parks. And actually, I would say Miss N Parks, since there are 3 Miss Parks on this call. And Miss N Parks would vote yay or nay. And I would then, she would say yay. I would say Miss N Parks votes yay. And we'd go around and call the whole roll. The clerk is keeping tallies. Then the clerk announces the vote. And the chair then repeats. The nays have it, this motion or this amendment fails. So the goal in committee, this whole process is called a committee markup. The goal is to get the bill ready to pass, whether that's through amendments or not. Although if you really hate the bill, then your goal is to get it to fail. You could have a whole markup session and have nothing come out of it. But if you do pass a bill by the end of your committee meeting, then that bill is ready to go to the floor of the House, in our case, the floor of the Assembly, to be further discussed and hopefully passed by the whole Assembly. Okay, really quick, does anybody have any questions about that whole crazy process? Any quick questions? Seeing none, I yield my time back to the chair.
Alrighty. I will now entertain any motions.
I move that we learn about how to convince other people of our ideas.
It has been moved that we learned how to convince other people of our ideas. Any seconds?
I second the motion.
I second.
It has been moved and seconded that we learn about how to convince other people of our ideas. All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed, say nay. In the eyes of the Chancellor, this motion passes. And I recognize Nicholas to discuss learning more about how to convince other people.
So last week, we started talking about making arguments. We talked about the story of the fox and the gingerbread man, and how the gingerbread man got eaten. And we decided we need to do something about these foxes. And we started making an argument. And then Catherine came along and she threw out some red herrings to distract from our argument, and we were defeated because we didn't have anything else to offer. So this week we're going to strengthen that argument. So why can't I just say, let's get rid of all the foxes, and everybody just believes me and I don't have to do anything else other than make my claim? Any ideas? So I have a claim. We need to get rid of the foxes. But if I want to strengthen this, I need to provide some evidence. People aren't just going to believe me and go along with this. So we need to explain our claim or support our claim with evidence. And this shows our reasoning of why we think this claim is relevant and why we think it will help. And the evidence should go back to specific facts and information and examples that illustrate why we're making this claim. So what kinds of evidence could we bring up that supports the claim that we're trying to make about the foxes? You can unmute and shout it out.
The fox ate the gingerbread man.
Perfect. So the fox ate the gingerbread man. That's a specific story. So now I can strengthen my claim and I'll say something like, we need to get rid of the foxes because this fox ate the gingerbread man. Catherine, what do you think?
Well, I could certainly go on and tell you about some fallacies that I would like to talk about that. Nicholas?
I yield my time to Catherine to talk about logical fallacies.
Perfect. Okay, so I want to explain 3 logical fallacies to you. And they're all appeals. They're all called an appeal. So this is going to be an appeal to pity, an appeal to authority, or an appeal to hypocrisy. I'll explain all 3 of those to you. So with an appeal to pity, I could try to win support or win support for an idea against someone else's claim by exploiting their feelings of emotions or their feelings of guilt. An appeal to pity is a sub one. It's actually an appeal to emotion. So any kind of emotion. I could appeal to your emotion about anything. And today I'm going to specifically use pity and get my opponent to agree with me or to disagree with himself because of his own emotions, or to evoke emotions to get him to change his mind. The other thing that I can do to get someone to change their mind is, let's see, let me go back. But that's a logical fallacy if it doesn't relate to the situation, right? I'm just trying to get you emotional and get you out of your mind and into your heart and start feeling about things, even if they have nothing to do with the situation, or if they're not directly related to the situation. The second thing I can do is I can appeal to authority, and I can say some authority figure that you respect said something that was important. Whether or not it's true doesn't matter. Whether or not it relates doesn't matter. I'm just bringing up LeBron James and we're talking about something and you like and respect him. And so who cares if he doesn't know anything about gingerbread men, right? The third one I can do is an appeal to hypocrisy. This is where I kind of attack my opponent. I make him a hypocrite by saying something that he said or did that doesn't go along with what he's now claiming. People do this all the time. So 3 kinds: an appeal for emotions, appeal to authority, and appeal to hypocrisy. I'm going to let Nicholas, let's see, in just a minute, we will do a little demonstration where I will get to use my appeals to see how it goes. I yield my time back to Nicholas.
Thank you. Would the Chancellor play the role of committee chair for this portion of the instruction for a role play?
Yes. The chair recognizes the bill sponsor, Nicholas, for opening statement on the bill.
This is a bill to eliminate all the foxes.
The chair will recognize anyone who wishes to be recognized to speak on the bill.
I would like to be recognized.
The committee chair recognizes the gentleman from Utah for 3 minutes.
I would like to move that we pass this bill to eliminate all the foxes. That's my claim. And my evidence for it is that this fox ate the gingerbread man, and that the foxes are dishonest, and that the people don't like them.
Would the gentleman yield time?
Yes.
What about these poor foxes who have babies in their dens in the woods? Won't they have, they'll be motherless foxes, and won't that be tragic and terrible? Don't we need to consider that? I yield the time back to the gentleman.
That is a logical fallacy. This is an emotional appeal. As concerning as that might be, the baby foxes in the woods are not the issue at hand. We are talking about predatory foxes tricking and eating innocent gingerbread men. As I was saying, this fox ate the gingerbread man and tricked him into being deceived, and that's the evidence that we brought up.
Would the gentleman yield the time?
Yes.
Famous animal psychologist Ferry Pavlov says that variety in an animal's diet is important to psychological well-being, including dessert. So eating gingerbread men is an important part of a fox's life. I yield back the time.
I'm going to point that out as another logical fallacy. That is an appeal to authority that is not relevant. The fairy father Pavlov is dead, and his work to get dogs associated ringing bells with food or dessert has nothing to do with our current issue. As I was saying, these foxes are deceptive and people don't like them.
Would the gentleman yield time?
I yield the time.
Can you really speak to this issue? I saw you eating brownies at lunch today. Sometimes the brownies come to life and they hang out with the elves and the pixies. Do we need to do something about you? You are a hypocrite for wanting to get rid of foxes for eating gingerbread men when you eat brownies.
At this point, I would yield the time back to the committee chair, but I'm actually going to keep the floor for a minute to discuss how this went. So we presented some evidence to strengthen our claim, and Catherine couldn't come along with a red herring and distract us from the point, but she came along with some other logical fallacies and tried to get us off topic of the specific issue we were discussing. And she appealed to someone who might have expertise in one area, but probably doesn't know much about the topic at hand. And she tried to make me sound like a hypocrite for something else that may or may not relate to the issue. But at this point, we're stumped. We need some more tools in our toolkit to be able to strengthen this argument. And so next week, we'll continue exploring that. But for now,
Would the gentleman yield time?
Yes, I yield the time back.
I just wanted to point out that that last logical fallacy was the hypocrisy one, and that a lot of times when people get attacked, that's where they stop talking because that freezes people up. So that's something that's in people's pocket that they can use, where if you're not coming along with the argument that they're trying to refute, or if you're not allowing them to refute your argument, or if you're not coming along with their argument, they can start attacking you. And people start to freeze up when that happens because nobody likes to be attacked. So we kind of stopped today with that to let you see that. But we did 3 logical fallacies. The point of us doing all of this is for you to understand how to strengthen your own arguments, and also to be able to be on the lookout for those logical fallacies. So when someone comes up with something crazy, you're like, nope, that's a fallacy. That doesn't work. Here's why, and move back to your point. But you want to have good evidence, a good evidence foundation, good reasons for what you're doing, so that people can't pull you away from what you're talking about. And also so that you can be convincing and help people to understand. Does anybody have any questions about what we talked about today? Anybody want to know anything more specific or detailed about that? We'll keep going with this every week and we'll eventually get there. Hopefully Nicholas will get good enough that he can wipe me out. So far I'm winning because I'm 2 for 2 on this. So we'll see how it goes next time. I yield the time back.
Thank you. I yield the time back to the Chancellor Pro Tempore.
I now pass the gavel to the next Chancellor Pro Tempore member.
Thank you, Madam Chancellor. I will now entertain any motions.
I move that we learn how bills are amended and passed in committee.
It has been moved that we learn how bills are amended and passed in committee. Any seconds?
I second the motion.
It has been moved and seconded that we learn how bills are amended and passed in committee. All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed, say nay. In the eyes of the Chancellor, this motion passes. The Chair recognizes Bonnie for 15 minutes to help us learn about lawmaking.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, or Mr. Chancellor. Okay, so we are going to do just a little mini committee meeting and see if we can amend and or pass the bill that we started making last week and then that I finished. So first of all, we need a clerk, and we have one person who has submitted her name to be in the election for clerk at Yes Week, and that is Noelle. And so I asked Noelle to be the clerk of our committee today. So I just needed you guys to all know that. And we're going to have a little committee meeting. I will be the committee chair for this committee meeting, but you guys are all the members of the committee. And the only way that this committee meeting on this bill will work is if you guys speak up and feel free to interrupt each other a little bit and to seek recognition to speak on the bill. We'll be making stuff up, right? So, I mean, whatever you want to say about the bill, if you want to make amendments or if you want to say why you think the bill is a bad idea, just whatever you want to say, that's how we're going to do this. Okay, so I'm going to pull up my little script and we will, oh, you know what, before we begin, I'm going to also share my screen to pull up the bill. Okay, where is it? Guys, I might have too many tabs.
You always that's not uncommon.
What?
That's not uncommon for you.
I know it's
Certainly not.
It runs in the family.
Oh. Okay, there it is. There it is. Okay. Sharing.
The only thing that
screen.
does run in the family.
Whoa, that's interesting. Okay. Loading. Okay, here is our bill. So the committee will come to order, a quorum being present. Today we will be discussing Bill AB1. So I call up that bill AB1. And will the committee clerk please read the bill? And Noelle, when you get to the bottom, I'll scroll up for you.
I can't see it. It's not showing up.
What? Is it showing up for anyone else?
I don't see it.
You might need to press another button.
Okay, you know what I will do instead is I will just add in the chat a link to the bill. Those who are watching this later, it's in the email from workshop 2 is a copy of the bill. I'll try and remember to add it in workshop 3 as well, a copy of this bill. So I just added it in the chat. Anyone who wants to, and especially Noelle, can click on that link so that you can read the bill. Hopefully that part will work.
Okay.
And you can
Do I just
start,
do, like-
you can start at an Act 2.
Okay. On Act 2, prohibit lethally poisoning food. Be it enacted by the Everwood Alliance Assembly. Whereas people don't want to be poisoned, and whereas the prolific poisoning of pastries causes a preponderance of princesses being poisoned perilously. Therefore, be it enacted that the poisoning of apples, pastries, and any other food item is prohibited. Poisoning is herein defined as the addition of the substance with the ability and in the quantity required to inflict death. Therefore, be it further enacted that this bill thereby provide greater assurance of the safety for the residents of the Everwood Alliance. Therefore, be it further enacted that the implementation of this law will improve the quality of life, freedom to move about, and confidence in Congress decisions. Therefore, be it further enacted that the absence of this law, having led to the deaths or indefinitely long sleeps of several princesses, has caused undue strain on our alliance. Therefore, be it further enacted that this law will go into effect immediately upon passage by the requisite parties.
Thank you to the clerk. The chair now recognizes herself for an opening statement. I think that this bill is an important step forward and that it would really inspire all of us, I would hope, to save the princesses. And I can't see any reason to oppose this bill, so I urge my colleagues to vote in favor of the bill. With that, I conclude my opening statement. Would any of the bill sponsors, which I see the gentleman, Mr. Brooksby from North Carolina here, would you like to share an opening statement?
Why am I sponsoring this?
Because last week I wrote you down as the sponsor. You can say no if you want.
No.
Okay. Would anyone like to be recognized to speak on this bill? Seriously, guys, it's like make up some random thing. Someone decide that you're in favor of it or that you're opposed to it. Okay, the chair recognizes Mr. Morgan.
Thank you. So what you want me to do is tell my thoughts on the bill itself?
Or you could propose an amendment, either way. And everyone else, remember that if you want to speak to something Clark's saying specifically, you can interrupt him and ask him for time.
All right. I did see with on the first, therefore it being enacted that the definition of the addition of a substance with the ability and quantity required to inflict death. You could pretty much do that with almost any substance by adding enough. You just, what I'm saying is like you have an apple pie, you add 50 apples, you feed it to someone, it's gonna kill them. I feel like it needs to be more specific there.
Does Mr. Morgan have a specific amendment that he would recommend?
Say an addition of um, I would like to make an amendment adding to this and further explaining that what it means is that that the substance also has to have been made in purpose to cause injury.
Okay, it has been moved that we have an amendment in the form of an addition that the substance has to be, okay, now I'm trying to remember your exact words, to be made. Will you say that last part again?
To be made that the substance has to have the intent of injury.
With the intent of injury. Is there anyone who would like to speak to this amendment? See, pause right now. We paused the talking of the bill to talk about the amendment. We'll talk about the amendment and then vote on it and then go back to the bill. Okay. Would anyone like to speak to this
I
amendment?
forgot the phrasing, but I want to talk about it.
The chair recognizes the gentleman from North Carolina to speak to this amendment.
I'm not sure that amendment quite makes sense based on the fact that we can't really judge an intention and it can just be changed whenever somebody decides that it's going to work against them. Like if somebody walked up to me and is like, hey, you made this poison, why did you do that? It's like, it wasn't my intention. So therefore, I didn't break any laws. That would not hold up in a court.
And then, Denver, when you're done, you can yield time back to the chair.
I yield time back to the chair.
Is there anyone else who wishes to be recognized to speak to this amendment?
I think that it is a good amendment.
Wait,
how does it go?
To what purpose would the gentlewoman from from Virginia, wherever you live, downstairs in my house, to what purpose would the gentlewoman from Virginia wish to be recognized?
I would like to be recognized on the grounds of speaking on this point.
The gentlewoman is now recognized.
Okay. I think that the amendment and the phrasing of it is a good one. And I think that the judgment of intent can be a matter that's discussed as a separate topic, but that is if it were to be modeled after an American court system, is potentially a very possible thing that we could create well to measure intent. And I think that defining poison as with intent to harm is better than defining it with lethal.
And now would you like to yield your time
And
back?
I yield my time to the chair.
Okay, so pausing right here. At this point, if Denver thinks Amy's completely nuts and wants to rebut what she says, he could ask Amy for time. If she would yield time and he can rebut, that could get out of control. So I think maybe we better not go down that road because, man, you guys should see how long Amy and Denver can argue. But that's something that could happen. At this point, Clark could also jump back in with any commentary that he has. Or someone could be like, why are we talking about intent? This doesn't have anything to do with the original bill, which it kind of does. So that point of order would probably be declined, but that's something else that could happen. For the purposes of moving on pretty quickly, I think it would be a good time to call the question, right? Let me make sure I got those words right. Okay, so the chair calls the question on the amendment to add the words regarding the intent. All in favor of this amendment, say aye.
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 All opposed, say nay.
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 In the eyes of the chair, the vote is a tie. Seeing a tie, the chair calls on the clerk for a roll call vote. Okay, so a reminder, Noelle, do you know what to do at this point, or do you want a reminder?
I think I know.
Okay, you probably want to move
Okay,
kind
what
of quick.
exactly do I say again, though?
What's that?
What exactly do I say again?
So you're just going to call on a person. So you'll just say Anna, and then Anna, I keep picking on her because she's at the top left of my screen. And Anna will just say yay or nay. And as soon as she does, you say Anna votes, and then you say yay or nay, and you make a tally. Okay, so everybody go ahead and take yourselves off mute for just this roll call vote, because that'll help us go quicker. And the chair asks the clerk for a roll call vote.
Okay, Anna. Nay. Okay, Anna says nay. Trinity.
Wait, what? I'm sorry.
Do you vote yay or nay?
Yay.
Okay, Trinity votes yay. Claire.
I vote nay.
Okay, Claire votes nay. Levi.
Yay.
Yay?
He says yay.
Okay, Levi votes yay. Clark.
Yay.
Okay, Clark votes yay. Denver.
Nay.
Denver votes nay. Andrew.
Nay.
Andrew votes nay. Amy.
Yay.
Amy votes yay. Finn.
Yay.
Finn votes yay. Okay, Jake. Jake, can you respond?
Okay, if somebody doesn't respond when the clerk calls on them, the clerk moves on to the next person.
Okay. Alyssa.
Yay.
Alyssa votes yay. Okay. Okay, Jade in the chat votes yay. Okay, and Miriam, I saw your chat earlier that you can't. So if you want to put it in the chat. Isabel.
I can now.
Oh, you can. Okay, what's your vote?
I vote yay.
Okay, Miriam votes yay. Isabel.
I vote nay.
Isabel votes nay. Kendon.
Nay.
What?
Nay.
Okay, Kendon votes nay. Eliza. Yay. Okay, Eliza votes yay. Did I skip anybody?
You skipped the chair, who does get to vote.
Oh, okay. Bonnie.
Bonnie votes. Oh, I say nay.
Bonnie votes nay. Okay. Did I miss anybody else? Okay, the tallies are nay has 7 and yay has 9.
Okay, then this amendment passes and the bill will be read to include this addition. Okay, we really are out of time. That was a really helpful demonstration. I hope you guys got something out of it. But what we would do at this point, if we were going to continue, was to discuss the bill as amended and then eventually vote on the bill and decide whether it goes to the floor. You guys did awesome. I realized we should be saying aye, not yay, because yay and nay rhyme with each other, and the better word is aye. When I actually watched a House committee meeting, they were saying yes or aye interchangeably, and the clerk would just repeat whatever it is that they said. So yes and no technically work too, but it aye and nay otherwise. So sorry about the yay and nay rhyming. That was confusing. Let's switch to aye. Clark, did you have a question?
Ethan says he was skipped.
Oh, thank you.
Well, his one vote won't change anything, so Sorry,
Yeah.
Ethan, you don't matter.
Every vote matters. Ethan, what's your vote?
It's fine. I didn't contradict myself at all just now.
Ethan, feel free to vote. Votes nay. He just won. Yeah, I love it. I'm glad you wanted to vote. Okay. With that, I yield my time back to the Chancellor Pro Tempore.
I will now entertain any motions.
Physical, he needs to get some paper.
I move that we discuss how we can learn more about the process bills becoming laws this week.
It has been moved that we discuss how we can learn more about the process bills becoming laws this week. Anyone second?
I second.
It has been moved and seconded that we discuss how we can learn more about the process bills becoming laws this week. All in favor say aye.
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 That would be great.
Any opposed say nay.
Okay, that would be.
In the eyes of the Chancellor, this motion passes.
What's that?
I will not.
Okay,
Wait.
sorry for my typo in the script there. But I just wanted to tell you guys really quickly that there are some optional things you can do this week. The assignment is still available to write a bill, right? There will be further uses for the bill, and it could be used at Yes Week if you write a bill. Why don't you go ahead, if you do write a bill and you're really on top of your game, go ahead and send it on to the mentors so that we'll have it available in case we want to use bills next week. So that's the first one. The second one is I just put 2 links in the chat. These 2 links are to parts 1 and 2 of an actual House committee meeting that happened in the United States House of Representatives. This is the one that I watched that taught me a lot about how the flow of the committee meeting went. And I found it interesting. So if you find that interesting, or if you're wanting to be one of the committee chairs and you really want to kind of get more of a feel for it, I recommend that, or there are other options available on C-SPAN that you can just watch a committee meeting in action. So if you want to watch those, go ahead and copy those links from the chat before the meeting ends. And with that, I yield my time.
I will now entertain any motions.
Oh.
I move that we adjourn until next week, Monday at 3 p.m.
Thank you.
It has been moved that we adjourn until next week, Monday, April 22nd at 3 p.m. And now hold a meeting. Wait, what? Any seconds?
I second the motion.
I second.
It has been moved and seconded that we adjourn until next week, Monday, April 22nd at 3 p.m. All in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed say nay. This meeting is now adjourned until Monday, April 22nd at 3 p.m.
We will stay on for a brief committee meeting if anybody wants to ask any questions about positions. And also I'd like to announce that next week, the 29th will be the last day to submit your desire to be a chancellor or committee chair.
So thanks everyone for coming. And does anybody have any questions before they want to hang up?
Why were there so many typos? I'm so confused.
I'm sorry. The typos were my fault.
It's just a test, Denver, to see how you are under pressure.
Yes, I'm so good under pressure, for sure, definitely.
He is going to be serving the 2-year.
Does anybody have any questions about positions that they are interested in? Like chancellor, are you seeing how this is working? Shake your hands if you see it, you get it, understand.
I'm interested
Okay.
in sitting down. That's my favorite position.
Yeah. So, anybody have any questions about those positions and what they would be like? Yeah, Finn.
Not specifically that. Is the 29th the last day to submit our campaign videos, or is it just the last day to submit our interest?
Interest.
And if you've already submitted your interest, you can count that deadline done. I recorded anyone who has submitted in the past. But if
Bonnie,
any-
do you think we could send out a follow-up email that says these following people have submitted interest in these positions, verify, and if anybody else wants to run, they need to do it by the 29th. So everybody
Sure.
will get that as an email as well.
Mhm.
Okay, let's do that.
And there's one of you who I'm remembering as I'm seeing this that we need to follow up. You asked some questions. I do have some answers for you. So if you sent me an email and I need to email you back, I'm remembering. Taken off, Andrew. Okay, I mean, if no one else has some questions, we'll go ahead and adjourn.
I know it's
And-
totally not your birthday, Andrew, but happy birthday.
Right.
It
It
is
is
my
in fact
birthday. I was
actually his
just
birthday.
joking.
Yeah, I happen to know that.
I'm
We
not
won't
quite
Zoom
sure.
sing to you.
Oh, Zoom singing is terrible.
No.
We'll shake our hands and say happy birthday.
I do not second
I'm
the
not
motion.
now.
Right. Oh, that's great.
Thank you guys for coming. If you have other
Bye.
questions, email us.